The Law of One, Book 1, Part 34, Session 16, continued. Questioner: was the recipient of the commandments positively or negatively oriented? I am Ra. The recipient was of one extreme positivity, thus accounting for some of the pseudo-positive characteristics of the information received. As with contacts which are not successful, this entity vibratory complex, Moishe, did not remain a credible influence among those who had first heard the philosophy of one, and this entity was removed from this third density vibratory level in a lessened or saddened state, having lost what you may call the honor and faith with which he had begun the conceptualization of the law of one and the freeing of those who were of his tribes, as they were called at that time-space. Questioner: if this entity was positively oriented, how was the Orion group able to contact him? I am Ra. This was an intensive, shall we say, battleground between positively oriented forces of Confederation origin and negatively oriented sources. The one called Moishe was open to impression and received the law of one in its most simple form. However, the information became negatively oriented due to his people's pressure to do specific physical things in the third density planes. This left the entity open for the type of information and philosophy of a self-service nature. Questioner: it would be wholly unlike an entity fully aware of the knowledge of the law of one to ever say, "Thou shalt not." Is this correct? I am Ra. This is correct. Questioner: can you give me some kind of history of your social memory complex and how you became aware of the law of one? I am Ra. The path of our learning is graven in the present moment. There is no history, as we understand your concept. Picture, if you will, a circle of being. We know the Alpha and Omega as infinite intelligence. The circle never ceases. It is present. The densities we have traversed at various points in this circle correspond to the characteristics of cycles. First, the cycle of awareness. Second, the cycle of growth. Third, the cycle of self-awareness. Fourth, the cycle of love or understanding. Fifth, the cycle of light or wisdom. Sixth, the cycle of light-love, love-light or unity. Seventh, the gateway cycle. Eighth, the octave which moves into a mystery we do not plumb. Questioner: thank you very much. In previous material, before we communicated with you, it was stated by the Confederation that there is actually no past or future, that all is present. Would this be a good analogy? I am Ra. There is past, present, and future in third density. In an overview, such as an entity may have, removed from the space-time continuum, it may be seen that in the cycle of completion, there exists only the present. We ourselves seek to learn this understanding. At the seventh level or dimension, we shall, if our humble efforts are sufficient, become one with all, thus having no memory, no identity, no past or future, but existing in the all. Questioner: does this mean that you would have awareness of all that is? I am Ra. This is partially correct. It is our understanding that it would not be our awareness, but simply awareness of the Creator. In the Creator is all that there is. Therefore, this knowledge would be available. Questioner: I was wondering how many inhabited planets there are in our galaxy, and if they all reach higher density by the law of one. It doesn't seem that there would be any other way to reach higher density. Is this correct? I am Ra. Please restate your query. Questioner: how many inhabited planets are there in our galaxy? I am Ra. We are assuming that you intend all dimensions of consciousness or densities of awareness in this question. Approximately 1/5 of all planetary entities contain awareness of one or more densities. Some planets are hospitable only for certain densities. Your planet, for instance, is at this time hospitable for densities 1, 2, 3, and 4. Questioner: Roughly how many total planets in this galaxy of stars that we are in are aware regardless of density? I am Ra. Approximately 67 million. Questioner. Can you tell me what percentage of those are third, fourth, fifth, sixth, etc. density? I am Ra. A percentage 17 for first density. A percentage 20 for second density. A percentage 27 for third density. A percentage 16 for fourth density. A percentage 6 for fifth density. The other information must be withheld. Questioner. Of these first 5 densities, have all of the planets progressed from third by knowledge and application of the law of one? I am Ra. This is correct. Questioner. Then the only way for a planet to get out of the situation that we are in is for the population to become aware of and start practicing the law of one. Is this correct? I am Ra. This is correct. Questioner. Can you tell me what percentage of the third, fourth, and fifth density planets which you have spoken of here are polarized negatively towards service to self? I am Ra. This is not a query to which we may speak, given the law of confusion. We may say only that the negatively or self-service oriented planetary spheres are much fewer. To give you exact numbers would not be appropriate. Questioner. I would like to make an analogy as to why there are fewer negatively oriented and then ask you if the analogy is good. In a positively oriented society with service to others, it would be simple to move a large boulder by getting everyone to help move it. In a society oriented towards service to self, it would be much more difficult to get everyone to work for the good of all to move the boulder. Therefore, it is much easier to get things done to create the service to others principle and to grow in positively oriented communities than in negatively oriented communities. Is this correct? I am Ra. This is correct.